Okay, my dad and I are going to go out to my friend Dave Robertson's and I might get a video of one or two of his cars. He's got one of every model 59 GM cars, so he's got quite a selection, plus a really low mileage. I think it's a 47 Pontiac. It's all original, I think, right down to the belts, hoses, and tires. And so anyway, we're going to get going here, and I'm going to get the car warmed up and get my dad in the car, and we'll get out of here. So once to the floor with the accelerator. Starts right up. That's for the parking brake, that blinking light.
Dave Robertson on right.
Dave Robertson's, yeah. So we got to go a couple little 0.2 of a mile. Well, anyway, we'll take the 59 down a gravel road. I can't believe it. It's the first time ever that I've been in this car. We went down in Inwood on a dirt road for Kevin's wife. Oh, well, we did. That's right, we did. That's the second time it's been on a gravel road. Yeah, this is a pretty good gravel road. It's not muddy. Look at this. How do you know you put in that driveway will go into his property there, but his house is up here.
Arriving at Dave Robertson on
how
right.
do you know that was Dave Robertson? Because I programmed it in. Oh, let's see. There's the Buick sitting there. Yeah, that's a nice house. Well, there you can see the fleet of cars in there. Oh, yeah. Where are you going to stop? Right here. You want to take this thing and... Now we got a slug of cars here. So there's 59 Cadillac, 59 Cadillac, 59 Chevy, 59 Oldsmobile 98. The Chevy is an Impala, sports sedan. And this was in video in Romeo of the at the Peach Festival cruise. He brought that, the Buick, which I think he took on the cruise last fall. The other Cadillac. And there's more cars than this. Love the rear of the Buick. Yeah, you got a few more 59s than what I have. I have one.
Shop at one time when my grandpa was alive. I kind of got into woodworking. And you can see what happened to the woodworking. That kind of like sideline.
Oh, that looks really nice in there. That's interesting, these little covers over the spark plugs. I don't have the... Oh, that's for the bracket. I got it, for the power steering. It's got a little different power steering bracket than what I have. Yeah, it looks a little better with an engine in it.
Yeah, it does.
Was this a Canadian-built car?
No. Pontiac.
Looks like they must use different air cleaners, because a lot of times that style is used on Canadian-built. Got a big oil filter adapter. A little different than what I have. I can see some slight differences. The exhaust manifold's a little different. Looks really good. Have you had it running yet?
Oh yeah, I've had it out driving. Yep. I pulled it in here, rebuilt. It had it was stumbling on idle. It was like starving, and I took it apart. There was the idle jets. That idle tube was
plugged up.
A little bit plugged up, and I could tell when I started it. I haven't had it out yet. I'm pretty sure that's.
What's this got? A 4-barrel? Yeah.
4-barrel. Yeah. It's got a Carter. 4-barrel. But I've spent the last week underneath the dash. I called you on
fixing the wiring.
Dash lights wouldn't
I see you got the dash together.
Short in it. I finally wound up rewiring all the dash. I couldn't find it. You know, and then trying to, you know, when you're working under the dash, you kind of need like another elbow, like right here, you know?
Differences. There's some differences in this. Has a elbow and a hose into the water pump. And this
And yours
too.
doesn't have that?
No, mine has a hose that comes out of the intake
See,
manifold
this is
there.
the first year 389, and that was actually a design flaw that because they didn't get good flow because of that, because it goes directly into the heads.
Heads, yeah. So
Instead
your
of-
heads are cooling first.
Right.
Yeah,
And
and
they
you got
changed that.
you got a little different setup there too. But other than that, well, I got the 2-barrel and you got the 4-barrel.
I can take this off if you wanna.
And you got a bracket on the back. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just rebuilt that car. I just put it on 3 days ago. I could tell as soon as I started up it was made
Yeah.
a difference.
Ballast resistor too that I don't like. That mine. Well, I converted mine to Pertronic, so I'm
Oh,
gonna use it
yeah,
anyway.
all my cars still have their points and condenser.
That's interesting. That bracket on the back of the generator. I don't have that on mine. I'll have to look and see if it. I don't know that it had one at one time. Interesting.
And I've had pretty good luck with them electric chokes, and pretty much all my cars have electric chokes on
Mine still has the stock choke and it works perfect.
them. Yeah, but
Yeah.
this one wasn't pulling, a lot of times that tube burns out,
Uh-huh.
especially if they go into the exhaust manifold.
Right. And then there's another tube that goes through the manifold. and-
Right.
Yep. What that tube goes into, yeah.
Right.
It's got like a metallic thread in
Yeah, it
the
does.
upholstery that I kind of like. Wonder Bar radio, how about that? Does the Wonder Bar work?
I don't think is it a Wonder Bar?
Yeah, totally.
Well, I just learned something. I'm not a radio guy. I got radios on my motorcycles that never been on. All right. Well, let me turn some lights on here.
All right.
These cars are.
Pontiac excitement.
So this is a 47. It was in a guy's garage down in Indiana. And the guy that I bought it from down there. And he was gonna fix it up, and I don't know, he just let it set. He wasn't motivated to keep it, to get it going. But the last time this thing was tagged or inspected in Indiana, it has the Indiana inspection tag in 1969. Never been painted. Original interior. I mean, it's got wore through in places,
Yeah, but for the year of it, come on.
but you know, it's 70
Is it
years,
unlocked?
70.
Yeah.
You know,
This car is my favorite of all your cars, I have to say, Dave. I really like this one. Is the
I
hood,
mean, no
can you open the
no
hood?
cracks in the steering wheel or any of the knobs or anything. The only electrical thing that doesn't work on it is the radio.
Maybe a
Yeah.
bad tube or something?
Yeah, you know, there's a guy in Armada that fixes radios. And it's on my list of things to do. I'd like to have everything work on it.
This is just the coolest car.
It's all, it's still 6 volt. Still's got the floor switch, you know, to start it with the floor switch on it. You know, nothing's, like I was telling Howard, it's pretty dark in here. Is that the, I don't know if that has a
Yeah,
light
there's
on
no
it.
light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
straight 8, flathead 8.
Yeah, it doesn't really show up in the.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But come on this side, you see it. All right, I'll come around to that.
Getting pretty flimsy.
Oh
And,
yeah, there's a little light here. Sure.
I had put a new, generator belt on it, you know, for the water pump and the. When I got all done, I looked at it, and I didn't like the way it looked, a brand new belt on there, so I put the old one, and I put the new one in the trunk. I figured If it ever
Yeah.
goes bad,
Yeah, you'll just slip it on.
but I mean, it still has the oil
Yeah,
bath
that's.
on
I
it.
was trying to get the decal on there. I mean, it's rare you find them this age that is that legible and that good a shape.
I think these are the original spark plug wires. It's got 50,000 miles on it. I had to replace, I've got one of those inline traps to trap the sediment.
Uh-huh.
And that's why there's these two clamps
I
right
got
here.
ya.
It's in the middle, it's right here in the middle of the line, and I pull it out and clean it periodically, just because I had to pull the radiator was plugged when I first got it. It was overheating, and the radiator was really plugged. So I put one of them inline, almost looks like a crawfish trap or something that's in there, you know, where stuff can go
Right,
in, but it
not
can't
come out, yeah.
come back out.
Oh yeah. Little cone on each end. Yeah, this is one neat. That paint looks amazing for original paint. I mean, I just can't get over the condition of this car. I absolutely love this car.
A little dusty. It's been out in the barn for a while.
Then we got a 60 Cadillac right behind it.
That one I got up in Carroll. Family had that. He was sitting in his barn, and he tore the carburetor. It was all tore apart, you know, so I got it pretty cheap. And when I raised the hood on it, a cat jumped out of my face, you know. This is up in Carroll. So when I went back a few days later, I had it flatbedded back down. Got all the way down here. He drove all the way down from Carroll, which is like 80 miles from here. Pulled up, stopped. As soon as he stopped and we walked up to the car, that cat dropped out of the bottom, took off, and he lived here for about 5 years. You know, I never got close enough where you could like touch him or anything, but he, you know, I fed him. I got cats that I feed them. They're just, and so he looked just like one of my kids' toys. The stuffed cat, so I put that stuffed cat in, and they called him Catty Cat. Catty Cat. So it's, but like my granddaughter goes to softball tournaments down in like Columbus, Ohio and stuff, and this is the one I drive when I go like long distance. It just drives nice and just.
Catty Cat.
Yeah.
They had a thing on the news just last night.
Cadillac I used to drive around that I've since sold, but them cats would have kittens, and since I've had them all fixed. I'm done with, I got about 3 left right now. But, at one point I was just like getting overwhelmed, but I pulled up into Memphis and the guy says, "Do you have cats?" When I stopped at the light, I said, "Oh yeah." He says, "All 3 of them fell out of your car back there." I never did find them. They weren't in the road or anything, so kind of slow, and so I'm hoping they found a new home.
I'm sure they did. And this is 348 powered, right?
348. That one, this one's got tri-power.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
A lot of work in the set. When I got it, it had this engine is out of a 61 Impala. So it's pretty close, you know, they did have 348s in these,
Yeah.
but he had put he had a 4-barrel Holly on there, and it was giving me some minor problems. I thought rather than invest any time into that, I want to put this back on.
This power steering pump can is 58 for any of my viewers that are interested. The 58 had a tall one like this. The 59 was a little bit of a slant and smaller, and the 55, 6, and 7 was a bigger round one that was kind of stubby. But mine, the fluid will be down in this can where you can't see it when it's cold, but when it's warm it'll overflow the filler neck. So this probably work a little better because it has a little taller filler neck.
So that's that water outlet you gave me. See, he had gone through it. Whoever had it before, I hate all the shiny Chinese parts on it, you know. So I still want to find another cap for my
the
brakes
master,
and
yeah.
another oil cap, a standard oil cap for it. I mean, I'll probably leave these air filters on it unless I can, those are Taiwanese, but.
Yeah, the
I
factory
still,
ones are.
the factory one would be a big,
Yeah.
you know, a big round one, and you can't even tell that you can't even see
See,
the carburetors
no.
on it. You know, that's the cool part.
You can
I mean,
barely see the valve
I
cover.
mean, these don't run any better than a four, but in fact, a 4-barrel probably runs better than a tri-power setup.
Yeah.
But this is way cooler,
It
you
is,
know.
it really is.
So
Yeah,
it's,
how
you know,
often do you get into the other two carburetors? I never get into my
hardly ever.
secondaries.
Hardly ever. And that's the only thing that's really, I mean, all this inlet stuff is all original, but it's got the progressive linkage on it. It would have
Instead
had
of the
a vacuum,
Yeah.
which, and a vacuum setup, they're set up wide open throttle. There is no in between. When you kick them in, they kick.
Open up.
They're on
Yeah.
wide open throttle. Where this, they come in gradually. You know, it's a better setup. I mean, if it still had the original setup, I would have put the original one on there, just because, like you say, I never get into
Right.
the other carbs anyways.
I never get into the secondaries on my
Yeah.
348, so, you know,
If
it's,
it had that set up, I would have left it, you know, I naturally would have.
in all honesty, these cars' suspension and design were not designed to handle this kind of power. These cars were built to handle 6 cylinders and 283.
This had a 6-cylinder.
Did it?
Yeah, this thing was made with a 6-cylinder. And I just put new springs, front springs, complete. I got all moved parts, all for the, all steering, ball joints.
Did you know that the 6-cylinder was actually heavier than the 348?
Really?
Weight-wise, the 6-cylinder was heavier.
Yeah, they were big motors.
That 235 had a big, heavy crank in it. That's why they ran so smooth. Yeah, it's nice.
I pick up that big screw down when I pull it plate and I can't get down that far. Take this, yeah. Take this.
This car's from Flagstaff?
It was from Arizona.
Uh-huh.
Just from the pictures, it looked like Flagstaff, because it had the, you know, the pines.
All sunk in the sand?
And this thing is full of pine needles. I still find pine needles all over this thing. It gets like up under the trim. I mean, it must have been buried in pine needles. But, I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow,
still got
nice
the
solid
original
undercarriage.
bed. So this thing was quite solid. I mean, it's not show car by any means. I mean, there's dings and dents. I think I did this one. I had a wrench in my hand and I did something. Did I do that? I couldn't remember whether it was there or not. But I don't think it was.
Oh dear. And you and Jeremy are out in Arizona visiting Lynn and I.
There was that El Camino out there, I remember it. And that was a 348, factory
There were about
348
3
too.
cars in the front yard, and a for sale sign on one of them, and big dog in the yard. It was all fenced in. So we just sat out front, we went 3 or 4 times, and we put a few more cars.
It was,
Never did ignite.
it was a cream from the trim down and it was green, the roof and
Yeah.
fins and the inside of the box, and it was a 348, factory 348 car.
See, now they never came with a black interior. So this is, somebody put this black in, which I kind of like. Or I've never seen one with a black interior. I've never seen it offered.
I might have the rest of the Impala trim for under the dash. It
I do too, but mine's pretty well done up.
was
Yeah,
off
all
that
the
59
got
I
done was
strip.
the ashtray, but I do have the rest of it. That's
But-
another project that I may or may not do, probably not.
I'll look around. If I have it, I'll give it to you. I might have given it away, but it was off that Impala sports sedan that was at Zaco's in their lot there.
I've replaced various pieces of trim on this for bent up. None of it's perfect, but whoever had it before, you know, this should have had a white stripe down the
Right.
middle of it. But I kinda like it like that.
The only way you can get the white paint to stick to that stainless is you got to put zinc chromate primer in it. I found the stuff that they sell. It was made by Exorust, I think, for priming aluminum storm doors to paint. And I just spray it in my door jam gun. I mask it off and let it dry for an hour or two and then spray the white on it. I did my Bel Air with that probably 35 years ago, and none of the paint's peeled on the trim.
Yeah.
It's really hard to get stuff to stick to stainless. That's why you see most people do this with the stainless on
I had
these air
some trim
cars.
come with it, and some of it I picked up on eBay, and every time I replace, it's kinda like a pizza. You know, as you get down this, now this is the best piece. Now,
Yeah.
Same thing with this trim, you know, now this looks all done up, you know, now, and then I finally figured I'm I'd like to find a piece of that tailgate trim, that's pretty bent up. But,
You know, he used to be able to straighten this stuff up, make it look like brand new as Cal Winters.
yeah, I stopped by his place last couple weeks ago.
He lost his
He
wife.
had to,
Yeah.
yeah.
She died,
Just a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago.
maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. His door was open and I seen his cars in there and I stopped and I didn't go up to the house or nothing. There's holes in the sides and stuff, but
It's all original.
somebody went to buy it through the trim and that, or the grill or the bumpers, it's all pretty solid.
Been parked since '67, huh? Yeah, it is actually pretty solid for a Michigan car.
In fact, I took the speedometer out of this one and put it in my other one. And this one's showing 80.
Look at this beautiful tire on here.
Yeah, I put it on this old tire.
Yeah, no kidding.
It'll hold air for about 3 days.
Really?
Yeah.
With all that. That looks like the tires that were on the Catalina when I got it. They were pretty split up like that. And I thought, oh, Dad looked at them. He says, those tires will never hold air. They pumped up and held air all winter.
Yeah, I flatbedded it here.
I can't even see a name on this tire. It's so rotten. Yeah, it's not in bad shape. It's a parts car.
The engine is tore apart, but it's still got the block and all the heads and everything are in the back. I mean, the lock is in it. Somebody's got the hinge hood, or the
Oh
hinge.
yeah, hood hinges off.
hinges. I mean, it's still got the power steering. It's still got the wiper motor.
Yeah, it's
There's a lot of good
gold mine
parts. There's a lot of good parts on there still.
Certainly is. Looks
mean-
like it shares a lot of things with the Pontiac, like control arms with the greased fittings and steering gear and pump and
So, you know, the
vacuum
other
motor.
the Electra, that's got a 401. This is like a 364, I think.
Uh-huh.
But it's got the aluminum fin drums in the front.
This one does? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
them, sure enough, right there. I don't know if they'll show up in the video, but yeah, it certainly does have them.
And if somebody wanted the Delco.
Yeah, the horn relay and
I don't know where maybe the voltage regulator. I thought it had it. Might be in the trunk. You know, a lot of people want just the covers for it.
Yep.
Just to
so they have the
keep 'em
Delco
moving,
Remy.
So it says Delco on it.
Yeah.
Delco on it.
Well,
I mean, this was a Michigan car. It was over in Schwartz Creek, I think, over by Flint. I come out here every once in a while and spray it with oil, just trying to keep it from getting rust on it, because if somebody wants that hood, I didn't want it to be rust.
yeah, it's totally savable.
Yeah, I could do that. I'm not even sure. It says something about Ford on there.
So this was in the Willow Run bomber plant, this
Yeah.
machine. Yeah, I can't really read the...
I don't understand these machines,
Yeah.
what they do.
These are all, like I said, there's nothing high. These are all old. That's 1942. Some of these are newer, but these are like in the 60s.
But they do the job.
That's like a 1947.
OMC engine now.
Got a Polar in it.
Where's the sticker?
Well, it should be right there. 2002. It had to be one of the last ones they built there.
I remember running around in these at the park when we were
That's why I
kids.
got it. That's what I got. I remember that too. Because I had a Harley Davidson golf cart and bought it off of an old guy. And I got it home and it was just, that engine would have needed to been completely tore apart. And you couldn't fit anything. You know, you couldn't haul anything. You know, golf clubs.
Yeah, there we go. Nice.
This one was rebuilt, but it was rebuilt in 1987, but I'm sure it's not got a lot of miles on it since then. Runs good. It's got a foot pedal starter.
Does it really?
Yeah. Yep. You can see on the carburetor right there.
For the choke.
So when you give it gas, this
That's the
start.
solenoid
That's
to
the
start
start.
the
Yeah, that's,
engine.
yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, this one I didn't do too much to this one. As you can see, I didn't even rebuild the carburetor on this one yet. It's just always ran good.
Do they still have points in them?
Yep. Still has points. This one does not have that electric
Electronic
choke,
choke, yeah.
but it doesn't have the original either. So this has one of them aftermarket heat. What would you call them?
On
Heat
the,
gathering.
on the manifold
Yeah,
down there,
yeah.
yeah.
But if it ever did go, I've had good luck with them electric chokes. For the washers, because you
Oh,
never
for-
use
For the power
washers.
for the choke, you mean?
Yeah, for the choke. It's a
So
good
you
spot.
have key on
Yeah.
power.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's a good spot, and it's got a 10 amp fuse in it for running the wipers, so it's a good.
Do you run them through an oil switch or just, so if the engine stalls, it stops heating the choke, or do you just?
No.
No, okay. Some people do that. It's probably not necessary, but yeah, it's a good key on power supply.
283,
2-barrel.
2-barrel.
These are economical little engines. I had a 60 Chevy, it was a 283 2-barrel, consistent, 22, 23 miles a gallon. Real good running motor. Never gave me any trouble either.
Yeah.
Good engine. Yeah, in 59, the pulley is larger, this is larger, and the power steering pump. You got the 2-speed wiper. Deluxe heater. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I got all my wipers working on all. Now, like this one, the heater doesn't work. To me, that's optional stuff. If I get time sometime, I'll go through and I'll get, I got the ones I drive, the heater works on them. Like that silver Cadillac, I had to put a new,
Heater core in it.
put the core and the valve and everything and go through it. This, maybe I will, maybe I won't. I just put a new water pump on this one this winter. This water pump was it was making noise, and the reason I thought it was the bearings were bad, but they were so bad that the pulley was hitting on the housing.
Oh, okay.
So I sent it to this guy in, I think, Oregon or something. It's called the Flying Dutchman or something.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of specializes in these old water pumps. When I sent it there, someone had been inside it before. I could tell that when I sent it to him because I'd seen silicone on the back
Impeller
of
and
it.
stuff.
It had the wrong bearings in it, and he couldn't. Come to find out, he couldn't even use that core.
Well,
It's all straightened out now.
Okay, I just want everybody to know that this is Main Street, main part of town, Armada. It's a big city, good restaurants, very nice clean community, and a subway
we're
shop.
gonna turn, we're on Armada Ridge, and we're gonna turn right onto North Avenue. We're gonna take this to Armada Center to go home.
And as quickly as we got into town, we're out of town, the residential area here. Some nice homes. Just a few miles out of town, we get into some of the old farmlands, which we'll turn the camera on again. Whoa. If you're into farming, here's a good place to get your farm implements. It's a really good place. I've dealt with them a little bit here now and again. A few used combines out there. Probably the price is right on the combines. There's a strange looking house. There's definitely farm country out here. Got a little bit of corn here, soybeans there, onions right there. Last year cornfield, I don't know what they put in it this year, I can't see.
sorts of goodies there.
All right, well, that was a trip out to my friend Dave's to check out his cars, and we did the engines on some of them. The Oldsmobile I have in a past video, I'll put a link to that in the description. And again, if you enjoy my channel, please subscribe, and thank you for watching my videos.